We had a sneak preview at the University of Miami about 6 months ago, and people there that loved it. I mean, just loved it. And so I went, you know what, this is going to work. And so from there, we were really just starting the process of showing theaters, entering at film festivals, those sorts of things. Yes, sir.
Don't we have to separate entertainment from information? When something is presented for entertainment purposes, and the goal of the entertainment is to make money, frankly, such as even our news. Our news is basically entertainment as opposed to be informative. The only news that we get that is not necessarily entertainment is our local news. And that's because our local news people go out and shoot it and report it. Whereas national news and so forth comes out of wire services and are sent to wire services and just go out. So that every reporter basically reports the wire service news. Now, this is an entertainment vehicle. Some of the things in which Michael Moore has proposed, many of us have lived. Those of us who, and you always throw a little bit of truth in when you mislead, because then you say, well, you point out those things that are truthful to substantiate those things that are untruthful. And in his dealing with the American healthcare system, I don't think all of us here are totally secure in it and comfortable in it, okay? And as far as going to the desk in the Cuban hospital, I'd like to see what happens if you walk into the desk of any of our American hospitals and say, I have a brain tumor, possibly, and I want it to be admitted. I'm sure they will give you a list of doctors or a phone number or extension to call. And the danger in looking at the way that I feel the picture is presenting it is there are many things in the picture that are half true and true in terms of the Michael Moore. It's very difficult for many people to separate this out. And therefore, if you condemn Michael Moore and everything he says, it's like having a criminal in prison reading a section of the Bible. And therefore, you condemn what he's just read because he's a criminal, a murderer. If a murderer reads a section of the Bible, does that mean the section that's been read is invalid?
I guess I'd just make a major point. I think that the main point of SICO and the people that I talked to that walked out of SICO and I talked to said, look, I can't believe Cuban healthcare system is so good and the U.S. is so bad. And I think very clearly Mike said, look, I want the same level of care that ordinary, normal Cubans get. That was a statement right on the movie.
That's one message, but there are other messages in there.
And I have no disagreement that the American healthcare system needs to be looked at and reformed. I have no disagreement with that overall context. But clearly you can say that he did not show an accurate picture of the Cuban healthcare system. I think there's no, in my mind, I saw it.
You said it on the movie. You said it on the movie.
Yeah,
you want just what everybody does.
Yeah, and that was, so I think it's clear, the real picture I think that Mike showed in Sicko movie, and you saw this, was really wonderful facilities, top-notch facilities, and he literally said, I want the exact same health care that normal Cubans get. When I went to that, and what started this whole thing is I talked to Cuban physicians who had been in Cuba practicing, and are now here in Miami, and they said, this is total bull. That's totally wrong. It's not shades of gray. That statement to present Cuba healthcare as the normal for Cuban healthcare is absolutely wrong. It's not shades of gray. And so I said, you know what? I'll go over there undercover without the approval of Castro, risking, frankly, prison time if I would have been caught. I will certainly be prosecuted by the U.S. government if they find out I'm over there. So on both levels, neither party's happy I'm over there. And I'll take cameras myself and literally take pictures and find out what the real story is. So I guess, you know, I would disagree. I certainly agree with the fact that Michael Moore says the American healthcare system there's things wrong with it. I have no disagreement with that. But to say the Cuban healthcare system, this is the normal way Cuban healthcare system works for ordinary Cubans, and those pictures and the reality, no, I don't think that's a shade of gray. I think that's flat out, excuse my French, bullshit.
Come
so,
here.